Hey Venk, how's it going? First of all, thank you for being understanding with me. I'm sorry about the video being delayed today. As I mentioned, I'm at a tournament and I'm really struggling with Wi-Fi at the hotel, so I had to like upload the videos at the site and different things. But no matter about that, I've gone through your video a little bit, and I think it has some really good tips for you. You mentioned that especially you want some help when it comes to like the mindset and how to think during matches to help you get out your full game, because as you mentioned, like it is a very common thing. I suffer from it as well. You know, like you play very well in practices, but once you play matches, you feel like everything's stuck up. All of a sudden, you do different decisions, and I don't know, everything just becomes kind of chaotic. And compared to in practice, where everything is just kind of clear, and yeah, you're just doing what you're supposed to do. So yeah, I'm gonna go through especially your forehand and backhand a little bit. Obviously, this is a practice, so you're just rallying. I'm just gonna go through everything, and then towards the end, I'm gonna summarize everything for you, and I'm just gonna give you some key pointers that I really want you to think about the next time you practice or yeah, play matches. Especially, I want to hear how it works for you when I give you these specific pointers to think about. But yeah, I'll summarize them and make it crystal clear for you in the end. So let's get into it. All right, so to kick it off, we're gonna focus a little bit on your forehand. You have a very nice. You come under the ball nicely, hit through it, but it looks to me like you're very focused on getting the racket up to your shoulder. And what kind of happens easily then for a lot of players is they would like hit the ball and they would be so focused on getting it up to the shoulder, they would almost like force it up to the shoulder. And I really think it's clear when you hit these forehands, the times where you just kind of let the arm go and let it naturally come up to the shoulder, compared to where you kind of like force it up to your shoulder a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna look at these forehands here, and so kind of on this one, you just like, you also get a little too close to the ball sometimes, which also makes that your arm kind of has to go this way instead of like really extending it out more. So if you get a little better distance to the ball, you're just gonna have an easier time like extending and really like hitting through the ball, and that's gonna help you a lot with consistency, timing. I don't know, it just, everything is gonna fall into place a lot more when you get that distance, because that's gonna allow you to follow through naturally compared to follow through forced, if that makes sense. So just look at this first forehand, you get a little crammed up, but then on, that was a little better. I think that one was very good. That one again, you see how you stay there a little long, you just get a little more room on each one of these. There's a little tough ball there. Good room there again. Yeah, so compared to the first one, the last couple, they look really good. You get good height, good depth, good placement, everything, like just very solid shot. And it's just like, you maybe were a centimeter more away from the ball, just a little more separation, more space, just allows you to hit through and be way more freely with the whole shot. And I got some great tips for you, how you can kind of get that all the time, and how you're going to think about that. So during matches especially, like different things, I got some really good tips for you. I'm going to summarize them for you in the end. But yeah, the main thing with the forehand is going to be, you know, getting that space and really making sure you swing through it every time. All right, so we're going to look a bit more here on the backhand side. So I really like your backhand actually. Just from looking at this, I can imagine your backhand is pretty consistent. Yeah, because you have a much better time of hitting through it, kind of the same way that I told you, like more naturally. That was a little crammed up. I like the slice. Good slice. I like the way you stick through that one and hit it through it. Good shot though still. I like your backhand though. I feel like you hit through it a lot better. I can imagine that your backhand side might even be more consistent when you play matches, and like you have a harder time of getting nervous on the backhand side. I can imagine the forehand can get really snappy and you can probably miss in the net, or I don't know, just feel like you lose control of the ball a lot more on the forehand side compared to the backhand. So the one thing I do want to mention on the backhand, like you have a very right-hand centered backhand. So when you hit a backhand, you want the left arm to be kind of the one leading through, so you hit it, and then the left arm kind of goes over, but you're a little more right hand dominating. So when you hit the backhand, your right arm is going to lead more, and then your backhand is going to be more like pushing behind it. And I mean, a lot of players do that. It's nothing crazy, but it's a little different how you have to approach it, because otherwise it would be like more about releasing with the left arm, but here it's going to be a little more about releasing together a little bit more, if that makes sense, like both left and right compared to maybe more left. But that is something like you have a backhand technique, and I don't want to go in and change your technique much. I like the way you hit it, and that's how you've been hitting for a long time. It's more about like getting the most out of it, and when you get to the level that you're at now in tennis, it's more about like ball placement, positioning, a little more tactical things, and I got some great tips for you on those. But on the backhand side, the main thing for you is the same as on your forehand. It's kind of more the distance from the ball. Sometimes you're a little too close, and that really exaggerates the right arm to be dominating, and that's when you're gonna start feeling like you lose grip of the ball. The ball just kind of goes. You don't really have too much control of the ball anymore. So it's the same thing there on the back and forehand. Like, you need that spacing from the ball. It's a little more difficult on the backhand side, but I have some good tips for you to get into those. So I think we're just gonna go right into the summary. Well, I'll go through it forehand and backhand, and I'll give you some great tips when it comes to how to transfer your practice game into your match game more, and how to think there. All right, Venk, we're gonna get into the summary. I'm gonna go through a couple of things that I just really want you to focus on the next time. So we're gonna start off with the key word for you is gonna be spacing. And what happens when why you give yourself space is in order so you can hit through the shots naturally. So remember what I said earlier about when you hit through, you don't wanna like force it up to the shoulders. You want the arm to go, and then let it naturally come to the shoulder by itself, okay? And in order to be able to do that, you need to have the spacing. That's why spacing is the number one thing, okay? And if we're gonna get into more detail how you get that spacing, it's easier, like you need to do more than just stepping away from the ball. So there is a couple cues here that are really gonna help you get that spacing, that's gonna help you swing through more, that's gonna help you with the consistency, and it's just all gonna kind of add together, okay? And on the forehand side, it sounds very simple, but this is a huge thing. I do it every day when I'm playing. I think about it a lot. So I wrote it in here, left arm, okay? So what I mean about that is that when you play, you might have noticed that when you're playing, your left arm kind of goes with you like this. Where it kind of goes with you here and you roll it, and goes with you here and roll it. And a big issue there that could kind of happen is that when you do this, it's naturally going to be like your left arm helps you a lot as kind of the distance. I don't know what you can call it, but you use your left arm a lot to kind of help you find the ball. And then you use the left arm, and then the right arm comes after. So left and then right. So the way I want you to do this more when you're playing next time is I want you to really use your left arm to kind of feel like you're almost pushing out the ball. Like you should be able to grab the ball with your left arm, a straight left arm. That should be the distance you want to have to the ball. So you can almost try it like a couple times when your friend is feeding the ball or something, just like grab it to the side, and then you could drop it and then hit it. Okay, so when someone throws you the ball, just grab it with a straight arm, drop it, and then hit it. And you're gonna feel that's gonna be the perfect distance for you to hit the ball. And then when you start playing, I just really want you to try to have your left arm kind of like a navigator, stretch it out, and then just go for it, okay? Just to kind of give you that distance all the time. So it's just a distance spacing helper, okay? So when the ball is coming, just kind of feel like you're just reaching out, and then just go for it, okay? So reach, and then go. And then after that, just feel like you're just going long towards your target, and just let the arm come up to the shoulder naturally, okay? So just there. Let the left arm lead, and then long, okay? And then on the backhand side, the only thing I wrote there is rhythm, because it is a little harder. You don't really have too much as cues to find the space. Obviously, I want you to have a little more space, but that's gonna be more up to you to try to work on finding that distance. There's no real tricks as with the left arm on the backhand side. You're just gonna have to find it more. And but a really good thing, I've noticed it both on your forehand and backhand sometimes, is gonna be the rhythm. You sometimes get a little rushed. When the ball comes, you just get a little stressed with it. And a great way to think about that, this is going to be great for your gameplay too, is You've probably heard how a lot of pros, they kind of grunt when they play tennis, you know, like ha, ha, and that actually has a lot of reason behind it. It is actually like a timing mechanism with your breathing, relaxing, and everything like that. And what a lot of people do is that when the ball comes, when it bounces, you kind of like breathe in like ha, okay, so you like, you can even say bounce, hit, and that's like bounce, hit, and that's a timing thing. So it helps you with kind of the load up and then go. So bounce, hit. So right when the ball bounces, you kind of load up and then go. Okay, so you can even try that like when you're playing next time. Just when the ball comes, just like keep your movement and you go bounce, hit, bounce, hit. Same thing on the way. Bounce, hit, bounce, hit. And then you're gonna find yourself naturally start loading and moving and working with the rhythm of the ball, because sometimes obviously the ball comes higher, so it's a slow rhythm, lower, faster, middle. So the pace always changes a little bit. You're never going to get two balls that are exactly the same in a row. So it's very important to adjust your body to the tempo of the ball. So you just need to find the rhythm of the game. Okay, so it's more like, just look at it more like dancing. You just got to find the rhythm and just go with the bounce, hit. So time the bounce and then you hit the ball. Obviously it's a volley, you'll figure it out. And then the last thing we're going to go into is going to be the gameplay. So you mentioned you get tight. Maybe we have a hard time transferring your level of tennis from practices into your gameplay, and that's a very common thing, because obviously like when you play matches, you're thinking more. When you're practicing, you're relaxed. It doesn't matter if you miss or so, but like during matches, you think about the score a lot. You want to win and all kinds of things. And well, to be honest, like there's no hidden formula to it when it comes to Roger Federer and Nadal. Like I've been around a lot of them. I've picked their brain a lot, I promise you. And there's no hidden formula to it. But the clearest thing that the pros are so good at is that they stick to their game plan no matter what. Okay, so obviously I didn't see too many points, so I don't know exactly how you play your game, but I can imagine it's like pretty consistent. You move it side to side and just kind of work the ball, you know, move the ball around. And like every player, you know, they have their game plan, their idea. Maybe you like going around on your forehand, for example. Maybe you like to hurt people, like open it up cross court, and then you really like your down the line forehand. So that's going to be your game plan. Like when you get a short ball, go for the down the line forehand. And you just have that set in stone. Obviously, a lot of things are going to happen. You sometimes get a slice or whatever. You have to adjust. But when you get the ball you like, you need to know what you want to do with the ball. So for Federer, for example, when he gets a short ball on his forehand or on his backhand, a low slice, he's going to hit it and come forward. It doesn't matter if it's break point, if it's 40 love, if it's 30 love. He's just going to do the right stuff for his game, okay? You always got to think of it long term. Just think of your game plan. First, you got to sit with yourself and really develop a clear game plan that's not too complicated. I've seen so many people, you know, they think about like, oh, I go 2 cross-court forehands, 1 cross-court line or something like that. You just have a very clear game plan. I try to hurt people with my forehand. That's it. So when you get a ball on your forehand, you try to hurt someone. If you get it on backhand, you'll figure it out. Just hit it backhand, do whatever you want to do. But when you get a ball on your forehand, you want to hurt it. And that's the game plan. So when it gets tight, if it's break point, if it's match point or whatever, when you get a ball to your forehand, that's what you focus on. You just try to hurt them, okay? So just focus on the game plan, no matter the score. And that's the only goal. Just try to do the right stuff over and over again, and then whatever happens, happens. So you just can't be result-oriented, or else you're going to be tight always. And I know it's way easier said than done. I mean, I played a match 2 days ago, and obviously when it gets tight, you start thinking about like more stuff and things, but that's just something you constantly need to work on. Like always, take a deep breath or something, but just remember, I'm trying to attack him. I'm trying to get my forehand, for example. I'm just throwing it out there as if that's your game plan. So when you're serving, you know, all right, I want to go slice out wide, and then I want to look for my forehand. I want to go tee, and I want to look for a forehand. It's like, it sounds very simple, but that's the way it's got to be. You can't overcomplicate things. You can't Just because it's a break point, you can't go for a drop shot return first time you've done it the whole match. That's when things are going to get really flaky real quick, and that's when you start, like when it's big points or you get nervous. You have 10 things you feel like maybe you should do this. What if I lob? What if I hit a high ball? That's where things are going to get crazy. So I hope it made sense. I rambled on there a little bit just to kind of cap it together when it comes to the match play, how you want to get that out in the forehand and backhand. I want you to think about the left arm thing and the spacing, hitting through it, letting it come up naturally. That's the focus. Just try to replicate that over and over again. And then just really try to be clear. You can feel free to send in another video if you want, where maybe you have some point play if you want me to look at it, and maybe I can help you develop a game plan to make it clearer for you. But that's the big key. There's no hidden formula. There's no like breathing 3 times or something like that to get ready for big points. It's just about knowing what you want to do, and then just try to do it the best you can. There's never any guarantees. So that's the only thing you can control, okay? So just know what you want to do and just try to do it the best you can. But hey, thanks a lot for supporting my journey, Venk. I hope I supported yours a little bit. I hope you understand my tips here, and I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes when we try to implement those. Remember that with the spacing, left arm hitting through. Make sure to go back, look through the summary again if you want to make it look clearer for you. And yeah, when it comes to the gameplay, you just have to trust yourself, try to do the right stuff, and see what happens. Thanks again, Venk, and take care.